Hello, and welcome to the Casting Cost, a Celtic Warrior podcast, mostly in Magic the Gathering MTG, but we might dabble into some other things. And welcome to our very first episode. This has been something I've wanted to do for a minute, but getting the time and getting things out and about to do it has not been easy. So we are working on trying to do this podcast or recording this episode while in a car. And so hopefully the audio sounds all right. In the future, hopefully audios will be better after some of these first episodes. I've got time and I'm in a car, have time to drive, it's quiet. So I figured why not just try to record some podcasts. And we're going to talk today about who we are and just some things that I've wanted to talk about. And sometimes you'll see us on TikTok. We like to help people get into Magic the Gathering, and so we kind of tell you who we are, what we're here to do, and how you can follow us and follow along, and also to tell some stories of some things that we've been in and some upcoming things as well. So we are Celtic Warrior Games. We started out on TikTok about a little over 2 years ago, more just kind of opening Legos and some random stuff like that, and then we got more into opening Magic the Gathering packs and booster packs and things along those lines. And then shortly after that, after a while, it kind of was just a side hobby. It was just something I was doing for fun. As I opened up packs, I was recording them, sending them to the videos. Occasionally, I would talk about different decks and stuff that I built and showcasing those. And then we got more into doing some memes and funny things. And then we started switching into doing actual, some content to help people. And we do question and answer stuff now. We do content almost every single day to try to help people get better at Magic the Gathering. And this podcast here, I want to help talk to, hopefully, you guys, to introduce you to who we are, to help you get better at Magic the Gathering, to get you into formats maybe you've never played before, maybe even get you into Magic the Gathering as a whole. Also have some of my friends and other people, other content creators on as best I can to let them know, hey, let's introduce the world to you and have you on this podcast. I want to have fun. A lot of times it's me just chatting, cutting up. I'll edit things as need be, but I'm also not a perfectionist. Sometimes I used to be. I've gotten a lot better at these things. Just have fun and do it. And so we're just gonna have fun as we record these episodes and talk to different people. And we just want to talk today about Magic the Gathering in general. And we're here now with slowly growing community, and hopefully we're trying to get those numbers up. We'd appreciate you following us. We're on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube, Twitch soon to be as well, doing some live streams as well on there. So keep us in mind if you would like to follow us and get more content in these areas. We'll have all those linked in our information and bios and things as well. And Celtic Warrior Games. You may wonder, where did the name come from? And so I can add that into here. Where did the name Celtic Warrior? So a long time ago, when I was a teenager, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! For a bit. One of my favorite characters, because I liked him. It wasn't a good card at all. It was the Celtic Guardian, I believe is what it was. And so not a great card, but it was a card in Yugi's deck that he played, and I liked it. And then I ended up taking a name that was like that. So we took the name Celtic Guardian and kind of put it into some kind of form of a Japanese nickname that I've used forever on a lot of stuff and different names and stuff like that. Well, I just didn't feel like that was going to stick with anybody who was going to really understand what it was. So I said, well, you know what? I like things that are Celtic. I felt like I'm a warrior myself, fighting for different things in the world. And then gaming, I was like, oh, Celtic Warrior Games sounds amazing. So we went ahead and we made the name Celtic Warrior Games. And so that is where that came from. And we use that now, and we have it across all of our stuff, trying to unify as best as possible so people recognize who we are. And our desire here is, and with this, is to grow. I would love to have a game store at some point, but realistically, I also want to just use this to grow and across different things. As I sell different things, trying to help people get into Magic the Gathering, getting different products and stuff like that. So you're going to see a lot of different things coming out from us and putting stuff out there. We want to help the community. I personally want to help people get into Magic the Gathering. I've already taught several people and got people interested in the game, giving people cards and things like that from my collection to help that. And I want to do that as well. So we do a lot of the giveaways and things like that. We want people to get into the game. We want people to enjoy the game and have fun. And so that is where we are and who we are at the moment. A little bit of about us. And now for a little bit, I want to just kind of talk about some events and things we've been a part of and upcoming things going along, and we might just chit chat for a few minutes after that and everything. So I had the privilege of finally going to one of my first ever conventions, it was Commandfest Atlanta. Over the summer, I wanted to talk more about it. I just got busy, and I was moving at the time and trying to get settled in, so I really didn't get the chance to sit and do a full conversation about it ever. And so now it feels like a good time. I can talk about Commandfest Atlanta. Again, I went as a participant. I was a content creator. I went, just to meet other content creators, but also just to have some fun. And even though I did go as a content creator, or I went as myself, I was able, and some people connected with me and allowed me to connect with other content creators and be a part of the content creator stuff that was going on. And I'm really thankful for every person that allowed me to have a part in that, because realistically, they wanted to have a part, but there are certain restrictions or certain things that they're looking for when they invite these people to events. And we were just starting to grow and starting to make this more of a full-time thing, or doing as much as we can when we was going to go to the event. And so we had the privilege of being a part of that and meeting some really, really cool people. MTG Nerd Girl is the one who kind of helped us out with some of those things. We met people like Veggie Wagon, we met MTG Baron, we met Magic New Girl, which I still owe. We still owe each other a game because we're real busy. I met, Girl Pod. Girl Pod was so much fun. It was actually really random how I met them. I believe I had gotten breakfast or something one day, or it was lunch. I don't remember. And there's an empty table out there, and I went to go sit down and just started talking to these people and found out that they did all this stuff. And I followed their stuff recently and saw all their stuff, and it was really cool to meet them and get to play some Magic with them and interact with them. But there was so many cool content creators there I got to meet and interact with. Covert Go Blue CGB was really, really cool. I actually got to play a game against him and Voxy. And it was a very fun game where Voxy ended up winning, but it was a very close game, back and forth between us all at different moments, taking out CGB's threats early on, wiping the board. He was not happy about that, but then he came at me for a minute with some of his creatures, but it was a fun back and forth, and I'm looking forward to hopefully in the near future getting to play some more games. I would love at some point to, these are big time creators, so at some point I would love to have them on stream or be able to be a part of one of their streams. I know CGB himself, Cover Blue does a commander stream, and I would love to be a part of that, to go play with those guys. Or even if I'm not even a part of the stream, I'd love to go up there sometime, be in Michigan at some point. Family's in Indiana, so I might go up there sometime to visit, and would love to have time to just meet him and meet them and be able to play some Magic with those guys and everything. So it was a lot of fun at Command Fest. It was not as crowded, and so I recommend if someone's looking to go to a convention of some sort, you have a convention you want to go to, I think Command Fest is a really, really good one to go to, and let me tell you why. Because typically they're not as crowded, they're not overly crowded. The one in Atlanta on Saturday was much more crowded because they had a CDH tournament going on, so there's a lot more people there. But there's still plenty of room and plenty of places to go. They hosted it at a hotel, so you can just stay at the hotel. Sometimes at these convention centers, and you've got to find a hotel and hope to be close enough and not have to lug everything back and forth, because we as Magic the Gathering players have lots of stuff, and so that was quite interesting to say the least. And to do that, to go there and have fun, and to be able to meet these people, what was really fun is I came down a day early, or was in the area, so I went ahead and stayed in the hotel the night before. A bunch of the content creators were there early and got to play some games with them. I had just started getting into CDH myself, which is competitive commander. We'll talk about some more of these things down the road, but I was just getting into it and was able to play some games with some people. It was a lot of fun, getting to play with new people, learning how to play CDH from some of these people, and bringing the decks down there to learn was a lot of fun. And overall, I think Command Fest was absolutely amazing. I had a great time. I was able to participate in a couple of the events they had. Were down there, like some sealed events, so like Pre-con sealed was fun. Basically, they just give you a random pre-con and you play it. You have no clue what it is. You get in there, you get it, and you just try to play with each other. It was when Modern Horizons 3 came out, so that was being the decks that were given out, and all of them were on about the same power level, and it was a lot of fun to play. I got lucky, got the energy, and that one is just so good to just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun at Command Fest. A lot of nice people was able to meet people who were interested in what I was doing, what we were doing personally as Celtic Warrior Games, but also a lot of content creator connection that the people who really reached out to me already, and I've been able to be on several of their streams, people I made friendships with and looking forward to seeing again in the near future at MagicCon and other future events as well. And so it's always a nice time to go. If you're a content creator, I would recommend to go into these Command Fest. If you're just a normal Magic the Gathering player, I 100% would recommend, if you play Commander, they have other events, so if you like Commander, go to Command Fest. There's so much fun you can have at these places and the events that they put on. And it's not super expensive, and you don't have to be involved in the events to get tickets. You can just go find tables and play with one. And the fun thing is they do have content creator sections. You can go play with your favorite content creators and get a chance to play against people. The downside of a lot of it is a lot of times, unless you purposely find the content creator you want to play with and talk to them, like, I want to play a game with you, let's line it up. It's just kind of first come, first serve, at least the one I was at, and so that can be an issue if you're like, oh man, I really want to play with Veggie Wagon, I really want to play with MTG Nerd Girl, I really want to play Magic with Cover Go Blue, or, Thane MTG. Different things. I'm talking to some of my buddies as well. Thane MTG. Some of these guys, you really want to play with them. The smaller creators are a little bit easier because we kind of are just like, oh yeah, just come here and play with me. I had a guy that was there. He's like, hey, I want to play a game with you. I'm like, okay, come over to the content creation section. And I gave him one of my tickets. He's like, I don't have more tickets. Can you pay tickets? But I was like, here, use one of my tickets. I was like, you get in here, and we'll get another pod you can play as well. And so that was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, doing LobbyCon with people, so the night's over, the night's not over, you can just keep playing Magic with other people, and I enjoyed getting to do that. The only downside was I did have an incident and it wasn't even anything to do, it was just after MagicCon, or Command Fest was over, I decided to go get dinner at a restaurant down there, Gus's Fried Chicken, there in downtown Atlanta, and apparently there was a big ruckus and all this stuff happening, and people were fighting in the back, and then apparently somebody pulled a gun. I don't know. All I know is I heard gun and I got out of there. Then I saw people running out. All the people that were involved in the whole altercation ran out, and that's all I know. I lost my shoe, but some crazy dude went back in and got it, and keys for some people. That the same dude that did all that stuff got in a fight. So it was a crazy last night there. That was interesting. I haven't told that story much, but it was pretty interesting and crazy to see what's happening. I recommend Command Fest. The event overall was ran very, very well. Sometimes I wish it ran a little bit longer, but I also understand like vendors and different people like that have to get home. You can't stay there all night playing Magic the Gathering as much as we want to. But see, that's the nice thing about LobbyCon. Now that was the disadvantage of the place. There were two events going on at the same time. There was another, I think it was like some kind of weird leather kind of thing. I don't know. There was a lot of leather and stuff going on, and we were all laughing about it. And so I don't know where they were, what was all exactly involved in that, but they were also there. So there were two events in there. They had only a handful of tables in certain spots where you could just sit down. And so, made it difficult to be able to, those tables filled up pretty quickly after things shut down for anyone that was staying at the hotel. Now, granted, you could have went back to your room and played with people. You could have went somewhere else, and I think some people did. But it was still a lot of fun. I wasn't even able to be a part of a draft event there with some of the creators, and and what's funny is CGB allowed me to take his place in the event and said, you know what, because he wanted to do some mouse or whatever, so I took his spot, and he's like, if you get anything cool, let me know. And I ended up pulling I think it was a foil Ulamog or something along those lines. It was not a cheap card, let's put it that way. Pulled a really good a really good card. I thanked him for it, and I joked that if I pulled a good card, he could sign it. He's like, I'm not signing that card, it's worth too much. You trade it or you keep it. And so, sorry guys, I ended up keeping it, or actually I traded it, because once I got that card, I had enough to get a Mana Crypt. That was where I got my first real card. That was really good. Was a Mana Crypt. Sorry for all the noises. I'm struggling with a cold, allergies, and so I apologize. But I wanted to go ahead and get this episode out because I knew that if I don't do this, it's not going to get done, and it's going to sit there and it's going to be another week or two before it gets done. So I was like, if I can record this while driving on my iPad and make it sound good, and the quality isn't horrible, we'll keep it. We'll put it out there. So that was Commandfest. Then I had the opportunity, kind of last minute, to go to GenCon. I was going up to visit my family, and my family lives in Indiana, and I just forgot that, about the timing and the time frame that GenCon was there, so I was able to get tickets to GenCon. And if you know me, I am a Magic the Gathering player, but I used to be, on my channel, I used to play a lot of board games. I still play board games. I have a large collection of board games. I'm trying to still find people to play board games with. It's just Magic has taken up a lot of my life. And I still occasionally, when I have time, play board games. I have several I got, and so I thought it'd be really cool to go to Gen Con and see some board games and everything. And I'll tell you this, from Gen Con, Commandfest Gen Con, there's a lot more people, a lot more crowded. It's a bigger area. I'm assuming MagicCon's going to be maybe a little bit less people, but still along the lines of crowds and how many people and what's going on. It was a lot of fun. Gen Con was a lot of fun. I got there early, not knowing anything, never been to Gen Con before. Know you can get your badges the day before, so I went up, and they're like, you can get your badges at noon. So I was like, I'm going to try to get here around 11:30, so get in line, and they already had people getting their badges and stuff, and I got my badge, and I didn't realize there's events going on, or I would have hung out and did something that time, but I just was like, no, there's nothing going on. But there was. So I'm hoping to go to Gen Con again next year. It'll be really cool. And I had a 4-day pass. I was only able to stay 2 days because I had other things that I had signed up to do back at home and had to get back home for stuff. But my plan is next year is to be at Gen Con for all 4 days to get some Magic in, but also to plan some days to do more board game stuff. That was kind of the thing. I kind of went to do Magic stuff, but then did the board game stuff on the side. So I was able to pick up some games that looked cool and sounded fun. Met some really cool people. Was able to demo some games in some of the rooms. Got into another game that I'm hoping to learn to play. It's a wrestling game, and it's apparently really, really big. They've been around about 10 years or so, maybe longer than that. They got me in because they have my favorite wrestler, Matt Cardona, as a card, and I was like, well, I've got to get this now. And so it was cool to see a lot of we're talking just basic Gen Con right now, a lot of the board game stuff, the way it was set up. It was very crowded, but normally it was very crowded early in the morning, but then in the afternoon it was still busy, but it was still a lot easier to get around because everyone a lot of times early in the morning was trying to get those exclusives. There's only so many of them. Let's get in here and try to buy them before they're sold out, or we're only giving away this and that with these things. And so it made it a little more difficult, but at the same time, it was still a lot of fun to be there. I got there one day trying to get a board game, the Cafe Bears, which is playing, you're building and getting capybaras and building their cafe and all this stuff. And it was they're releasing it there, and you can only pick it up early, and I didn't realize that. So I went there later in the day to the booth, and I was like, I'd like to get the game. We sold out first thing this morning. I said, okay. Sorry, we have more. And they said, yeah, just come back first thing morning. So the next morning I got there super early, just sat down. And the fun thing is I had my Magic stuff with me, so I just kind of sat on the floor and ran through my deck I was practicing for Modern, for an event I was going to be a part of, and just going through it, and killed time. Then got some people there that were talking to me about Magic and some other stuff, and it was really fun. And then got right to the booth, no problems, got the game, then left out of there, and then went to just do some Magic stuff for the day. The one thing about Gen Con, so we're going to talk about Magic stuff at Gen Con. I did not play as much Magic as I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to play a lot more Magic than I did. I had a bunch of decks, and I did not play any Commander. I did not play any Magic outside the events I signed up for. I signed up for 3 events, and that is all the Magic I played. Part of it was I didn't have really a group with me, and part of it was I was also trying to just figure what was going on and see different events. I also left early a couple times just because I was tired a couple of those days. And the reason I was tired, found out later, is I ended up getting, I'm pretty sure, COVID. I don't think I got it there. I think I had picked it up from some friends that had gotten, apparently were sick, had it, because then people in my family and other friends got sick with the same exact thing, and there's no way it happened as quickly because I came back home, wasn't feeling good, and like the other people were getting sick the next day. I think it was a whole thing. Like we had all picked it up, and we came in our system. So I was really tired a couple of days and got to sleep early. I went to bed, went back early. You know, you could be at GenCon almost all night. Like it's going almost around the clock, basically, between the hotels and different things going on. Next year, I will have a much better plan. But let's talk about Magic the Gathering, the event. I feel like the problem with the events, so it is not the people running the event's fault because of the system. The way GenCon works is, GenCon does not have any like digital like things that give you these ticket things that then you redeem to get to your events. Well, Magic the Gathering has a lot of digital things. So you want to sign up for those events on the arena or whatever, but you have to go turn in those tickets to the people who are running the event. Which I can't remember. I think it's Pastimes that was running the event. And the problem with that is some people would get from one event to the next event, and the event was supposed to start at 10 o'clock, and there are people still trying to register to get into the event at like 10:15 because there's a line, and because of how it worked. The one thing I said is I wish they had opened the booths a little bit earlier the first day, because the first day they did not open up where you could go to register for events until I believe it was either 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and the first event was at 9. All the events were at 9, so it was just a mess that was with as far as that. The second day they kind of fixed it a little bit, but there's still people running up to events. Most of the events ran late, and again, this isn't on Pastimes. It has nothing to do with them. I talked to the lady that was kind of overseeing some stuff, and she explained how it was working. And the downside is they had to get the physical tickets, because if they don't get those tickets, they don't get the money from GenCon. So like they can't take money from me. At other events and stuff, a lot of times you can go up there, pay off a credit card, they take your money directly. This one is all money. Basically, you get GenCon play money, and then GenCon pays them at the end of the event based on how many tickets they had and what the events they set the price for. So there's not really a way at the moment, unless GenCon ever changed it, where they could do digital stuff where it could all just switch over and they could just do it themselves directly. So that's the downside of the events there. Just keep that in mind if you decide to go to play Magic the Gathering events. You are probably going to wait for your event to start, and don't stack your events up too close to each other because of that. If you have an event that's at 10 and one that's at noon, and it's like a sealed or something like that, know how long your events are going to take. Things run late, people run late, events run long, and you got all these problems and stuff like that. And so that is the one thing I will say about it. Overall, I had fun. I participated in 3 events there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really struggling. Those 3 events I was able to participate in were a Chaos Precon, which is you got a random Precon and you played it out. I ended up getting the Clavanova, or whatever his name is, the Vampire, the Orzhov Vampires, and then we were playing against Diana was the worst deck because she just didn't have a lot of support and was slow. And then I can't remember what the other 2 guys were playing, but one guy went really, really strong, really fast. Oh, he was playing the Raccoon deck from Bloomborough. That's just really broken because all your stuff turns into creatures, and he was just going to overrun us. And it was a matter of, all right, who's going to win here? Who's going to win here? And it came down to kind of like, okay, I've got to take you out or else I lose the game on your turn. And we were able to take him out, but then, the other person ended up winning just because of the state we were in, I believe. That's how it ended up happening. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Playing the Chaos Precon things are fun sometimes. If the decks are roughly the same power level, the problem is some of the decks they threw in there were just not good decks, or they were really strong decks, or stronger decks that could just overrun certain decks. And so that was the only downside of that. Is I feel like you got to do better if you're going to do a Precon thing of making the value worth it for the person, and 2, making the decks worth it. So, if there are certain decks that are stronger, so like the Modern Horizons 3 decks are really, really good. They're a little bit stronger than even a typical deck. The Lord of the Rings deck's the same kind of deck. They're a little bit stronger than even a normal Precon that comes. But the Precons nowadays are pretty good. So like the Bloomborough Precons are pretty strong too out of the box. But where you're facing some of the other ones, like the Commander Masters Precon, or whatever it was. They just weren't as good, and so they did not do as well. Unfortunately, at least some of the people I talked to about some of the things, that was kind of what their thoughts were on the whole thing as a whole and in general. But then the next event I did a modern winter box event. So basically, you played out and you brought your modern deck and you tried. If you went 3-0, you won a box. If you lost any, you just got consolation prize, which was basically you got I think it was, what is it? Yeah, a lightning bolt that was GenCon exclusive, which I have one. I got two of those because the two events I participated in. It was a lot of fun to do that. And then they actually gave everyone, I think, on that event, they gave everyone like a extra pack because there was like we had to wait for a while, and so it was nice. They gave us little, what are those called? The extra packs that stores get you, whatever, prize packs or whatever. The ones that have like 3 cards in them. They give those to everybody that participated in the event. So I ended up. What ended up happening to me? Oh, so I ended up getting a bye. So I already had 1 win, which was nice. We only had to win 2. And then I got in, and I was playing my Nadu deck that was 4-color, and I had not had a chance to play it against anybody, so it was untested. The goal was to test it there, play it against people, and then take it to my RCQ and play it. Well, I got to play it. I played Energy right off the bat. I beat him round 1, went off my thing. He adjusted round 2, but I just could not get going. And he got me in round 2. Round 3, same kind of thing. I just kept missing. And I think round 2 I got second lands. Round 3, I got flooded with lands. That was just kind of what happened. Then my third game, kind of similar situation. I went in and played, and Nadu just would not do anything. Just would not go. And so I ended up losing because I couldn't get Nadu or do anything. And so that wasn't fun. And it was fun, but it was hard I was learning the deck still. And then I also, the favorite thing I had is they had a Baldur's Gate draft. So you took the Baldur's Gate, they gave you 1 collector booster, and then the draft was, the collector booster was yours to go ahead and base what you're going to draft off of. So you looked at your collector booster, hoped to pick what your commander was going to be. From that, you didn't have to stick with that, but, it kind of judged your decision. Okay, these are some cards I have this is leaning towards. And so I wasn't sure what I was building, but I ended up building like a blue-white with, I can't remember who the commander was, but it was a blue-white with a background that basically was based on getting tokens out. It had a lot of token synergies, and I just kind of, once everything started going, I had like, my thing gave all tokens +2/+2, like if you have the commander creature out, and then I had a thing that let me create tokens when I attacked, and then every turn I was creating tokens, and when I attacked with tokens, I could draw cards, and so it overwhelmed the board very, very quickly. They tried to make remove 1 or 2 things, but again, in a draft, there's not as much removal as if you're building the deck yourself. But see, I really like commander drafts because I like building commander decks. I like building decks in general in Magic, not the wooden ones. I would not. Trust me, if you asked me to build you a wooden deck for your house, I would not stand on it. I would not trust it. It might be crooked, and it might hold you very well, but it's not going to be straight or connected to anything. But if you want me to build you an actual commander deck or any other kind of deck, I can build you a decent deck. I have decent ideas of what I want, and I listen to a lot of people who build decks and my deck's just not working. My deck doesn't do its thing. All of my decks have always at least done their thing. That doesn't mean they always win, because you're not always going to win with every deck you build. But all of my decks do their thing when I build them, because I know a lot of times what I'm doing, and I enjoy building decks, and I've done it a lot. Now at the beginning it was bad because I just throw cards in, but now that I can understand synergies and stuff like that, I can help people build decks. That's why I want to be here. That's why I want to talk to you. I want to help you get better at Match Together. I want to help you build decks if you want. I would love to build you a personal deck. You tell me what you're looking for, what kind of power level, and we can work on an arrangement and figure it all out. But on top of that, though, when it comes to commander drafts, I have, every time I've done a commander draft, I've done well because I get an idea and I see what I want to do and I go ahead and build it. I'm not good at limited in any other format except for Commander Limited, because Commander is like my format of of choice typically, and so I'm getting better at limited and understanding how to draft certain things and looking at certain things. But even then, like when it comes to Commander, I can go ahead and figure out, okay, this is my Commander, this is my theme, these are the cards I'm looking for. This will help, this won't help. And so it's a lot of fun. And I hope to do some more. I'm hoping this next year, in 2025, they release another Commander pack that's cheaper and draftable. Not like Commander Masters where they charge an arm and a leg, because that cost you like 50. At the time, I think it was like $20 to basically draft it. And that's ridiculous to me, my personal opinion. 20 bucks a pack. That's $60 to do a draft. That's just way too much. But I had a lot of fun at Gen Con overall, and looking forward to hopefully going back again. My next convention I'm going to is going to be MagicCon in Las Vegas, and so I am excited about that. I'm really excited to meet a lot of you guys. There's a lot of my content creator friends, us in this smaller content community, where although we don't have the biggest following, or even maybe Wizards of the Coast hasn't recognized us yet, we still have value, we still have good content, and we are growing, and we're excited. I'm excited to meet a lot of these people. And I want to tell you this way: if you're a content creator or not, you're thinking about doing content creation, go ahead and do it. Just step out and do it. It's not, you may think, well, no one's going to listen to me. I know the same thing the longest time. And there are people apparently that listen to me still. I don't know why or how. I just try to help people. And do your thing. And you don't have to do it to be like, oh, I'm going to become big with Wizards of the Coast. I don't have the biggest following, but, and I don't know if Wizards of the Coast will ever have me as a honored guest at an event or allow me to be an ambassador for any of their programs. Who knows? I would love to. I would love to be able to show off some of the cards that they have for an event. I would love to do all that stuff. But if it never happens, it never happens. But I'm here to lift up other people in the community. And I love watching people succeed and people grow and do well. Some of my friends have really grown, and Wizards have seen them because they've grown. And I'm excited for them. And I hope to be there someday too, and I hope you will be there someday too. But I'm excited about Magic. I digress. If you notice, I'm ADHD, so I will bounce around quite a bit when talking sometimes. So I apologize for that if that happens in these as I'm recording and talking. But here's the cool thing, all right? I'm going to be MagicCon Vegas. I get there 2 days early, so Wednesday I'm pretty sure I'm just going to try to find it when I get in, because I get in super early, not super early, but early in the day to Vegas. I'm going to try to just find some fun stuff to do. I have no clue what that includes. Thursday, earlier in the day, going to try to find some things to do that's fun. And then in the evening, I'm hoping to have there's a couple of Magic events that might be going on that I'm going to try to find out about and try to connect with some people with that I've heard about. We shall see how that goes. Talking to some of my other buddies about some things that are going on, and seeing if the doors are opportunity for me to be part of those or not. And so we're kind of seeing all that as well. On top of that, though, I'm excited to be there. I'm only registered for one event, and that is Into the Unknown. And I got very lucky that I registered to do it with Gavin Vivehi. I'm so bad about saying names. I apologize if I said your name wrong. His Into the Unknown event. I'm really excited about that event and being a part of it. I was worried because I signed up for it and then found out he was only going to be there for one day of the event. Thankfully, the one I signed up for, he's still going to be there for. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do and what it's going to be. I'm excited also that there's a Mystery Booster 2 that's going to be there. And so going to maybe do a draft or whatever. I'm not really signing up for events. My goal is to meet with people, to play Magic with my friends, play Magic with some of my content creator buddies, and just have a real good time. There's some people that are doing meetups. Some of the content creators I followed for a while are doing different meetups with their different communities. I'm trying to meet up with some of these people and play Magic as best I can and do what I can to enjoy and have fun while there, and then leave Monday afternoon and come back home and rest for a couple of days after going crazy for a couple of days in Vegas. And so I hope you're going to be there. If you come and you're there, come look for me. I'm going to have some surprises, some things to give away to people, and I'll be posting stuff online about it. So if you're going to be at MagicCon, let me know. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to try to meet up. We can play some games if I have time. If I'm, again, I don't know what it all contains, because I do have some people there that told me to meet up with them when I'm there, and we're going to see what we can do with some events and some different stuff. And so I have no set thing right now, but I do have some friends and some people that I have already said we have to get some games in because of just rivalries online or just talking back and forth online. And so outside of that, though, I should be free to play games and stuff like that in any format you want to. Standard, I have a standard deck or two. I will have my modern deck or two. I'll have my pioneer deck or two, and I'll have several of my commander decks as well. I'm probably going to bring 4 to 6 commander decks, 2 CDH and 2 to 4 non-CDH decks that I want to play, and we'll see how that goes. I got to figure out how to get that all in bags and then figure out carrying that in and out of the convention center every day, because it's a hassle to carry things all day long. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. We're coming to the end here. Most of these, I don't want to be longer than an hour. It may be longer if we have guests, but I don't want to go longer than an hour typically if it's just me, because you guys are going to get tired of hearing my voice and be like, okay, this guy's just rambling and continue talking on. But I really am excited about MagicCon. I'm excited about some things I'm planning for the rest of the year. I've got some giveaways that are going on across all of our channels, so pay attention to those. We have current giveaway going through the Insta right now. Almost every month we have something going on TikTok. That goes through with Insta, but Insta we have a big one for 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000 followers. We have the giveaways we're planning to do. When we hit those marks on those growth channels, as we grow on all of our other platforms, we'll have other giveaways as well. So keep that in mind as well. We've got hopefully some cool news coming out in the near future about some opportunities we have. And yeah, as far as other opportunities, I'm hoping to be able to be at some other Magic events next year as well when I can, with travel and stuff like that, and with between work and travel and stuff, I'm trying to see what we can squeeze in and do and make plans for. And we just hope to be able to meet a lot of you guys. I want to appreciate you again. I'm gonna say this again. I'm excited to start this podcast, and I plan to try to keep up, try to do at least one episode a week. If I get more, I get more. It just depends, and we shall see what happens. And yeah, again, you hear background noise because I am driving, so I apologize. I just wanted to make sure I could get these recorded while I'm driving, or at least one of these while I'm driving. Try to do these every week. Sometimes I may not hit it up. It just depends on how it goes. I don't want to probably do more than one a week just because overwhelming. I'm going to try to post these to everything that I can that allows me to. And I really want to appreciate you guys out there. For those of you who have been following us for a long time, we want to appreciate you. Those who are newer followers, we appreciate you for all that. We just really appreciate all of our followers and people who are there. We do this for you guys. We appreciate all that you do. We want to give back to you. We want to help you guys, and we enjoy the interactions and things like that. So thank you guys so much. And stay tuned as we have some really, really cool things I'm hoping planned. I'm hoping to have some of my buddies on here in the near future, and some of my content creator buddies to talk about them, to talk about their stuff, the things that they do, and get those out there. And who knows, sometimes we may not talk about Magic the Gathering, and that's fine, because I have other things that I like. Board games. I might have some board game guys on. I might have some people talking about movies, because if you see my content, I do movie and media, and TV shows, and all this stuff. We'll have fun with this, and we want to thank you guys so much again for being here on episode 1 of the Casting Cost, the Celtic Warrior Games podcast. And we want to appreciate here, and hopefully in the future, near future, we'll have sponsors in this spot. But we don't have any sponsors really at the moment. I can just recommend some people to you. I would recommend using, if you need to get your singles TCG player. A lot of people use them. I use them myself. If you're in the Greensboro, North Carolina area, and you're looking for a game store, Dragon's Horde is my game store that I go to while there, and would highly recommend you come there. You can meet me there. Reach out and let me know. Try to meet your times out. I love going there. Try to go there once, sometimes twice a week when I can. On top of that, also, I would recommend Jank Mats if you're looking for a play mat. They have all kinds of different play mats with lots of your favorite content creators, and I've had them print a play mat for myself, and stay tuned for some more stuff maybe about that. But Jank Mats themselves, amazing people. They do really good products. As far as play mats, they have a great little small backpack carrier thing that I'm probably going to be taking to Vegas with me. And then on top of it, they have several other things as well as Nerd Gaming, I believe is there. They have the Playmat Sanctuary. and we are part of their community as well. And the Playmat Sanctuary allows you to put your playmats and show all of them and put them on a nice wall where they're not all batched up in a drawer somewhere, bunched up in a drawer somewhere. So you can hang those on your wall, and I think it holds like 6 to 8 of them, which is really, really cool, and everything. And so they are still, I think they're just ending the Kickstarter, and they're starting to get a lot of those out to people the next month or so, but I believe you can get a late backer pledge in there as well. And so this is some of the people I would just, they are not my sponsors really, but I will give a shout out to them on this first episode in hopes that maybe one day, and we'll shout out to Wizards of the Coast, because if it wasn't for Magic the Gathering, we wouldn't be here. We want to thank them for the opportunity to play Magic the Gathering together, and may this continue on for a long period of time, and may it not be ruined by greediness. Let's put it that way. And again, thank you guys so much for being here on this first episode of our podcast, and stay tuned for future ones. Let us know as well what kind of podcast episodes, what kind of things you'd like us to talk about, maybe even guests you would like us to have on. I would do my best to have people on. Again, I'm small, so if you're like, oh, go get the guys from the Commander Corner or the Command Zone, that probably Jimmy and those guys don't even know I exist. So good luck possibly getting them on. I can try. I will try my hardest if someone asks, because I'm not afraid to go up and ask people questions and try it. But those guys are pretty busy and sometimes hard to get. But I'm not afraid to be like, oh yeah, you want me to get a big guest? I will try. But again, there is no budget for this thing. So some of those people also charge to get onto these things. So we'll see how that goes. But again, we want to thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, we will see you next time.